Hello everyone. Uh, I am very excited to do this activity, and I want to show you some art that my students have done in my classroom. I work with 18 months old and up. So I usually have the children come to my class when they're 18 months, and they usually leave my class. They transition when they're turned 2 or a little over 2. So I have this specific piece of work in here that is from a student that started in my class probably like in the middle of summer is when she started coming to my class. And I want to show her scribbling art from when I did it all the way in August last year until how she has improved her scribbling till the month of March, because I actually did ask her, like, we were doing some scribbling this week, and I wanted to see the difference between how she started in my class till how she's doing now. And it's amazing how much she has advanced. So uh, what I have to say about the art is that at this point is the disordered scribbling. So here is my friend's scribbling, what she did in August. So if you can see, I gave her like a piece of paper, and then she scribbled. So you can see that her marks are not really, her grip is not really strong. And I remember she grabbed the crayon with a fist. So we are talking about of an 18 month old. So usually during this time they are not really like holding the crayon or the marker with two fingers. They're usually holding it with a fist, and so this is what the scribbling is. I do usually give the children a large piece of paper, or sometimes what I do is that I will lay newspaper on the table, and then I put the smaller piece of paper, depending on how much material do we have for our classroom. But I do have usually let them like scribble also in the newspaper, because as the book says, and as I heard before, the children need a large piece of paper so they can move their arms and they can do all the movements that they need to do to develop their fine motor skills, and at this stage of their development. Also, I know that young children really like sensory experiences at this time, so I do a lot of painting with them. And so not to change the conversation, so this was the scribbling from August of 2017, and this is the scribbling that she did this week. So I gave her markers, and as you can tell, in here is more detail scribbling. She still doesn't really have meaning of what she's doing, but I noticed that she's doing more circles and she's taking more time in doing it. But who I am talking about, like, she's really really advanced for the age that she's at. She just turned 2 in February, and she amazes us. Me and my coworker are always in awe in how well she scribbles and how well she performs in the classroom with every single activity that we do with her. So in here you can see that she does lines. So what I was doing, it was that I in a piece of paper that I have, I was making lines, because usually we have to do assessments for them, and we have this specific questionnaire, ages and stages, that we do for the Early Learning Coalition. And in one of them asks, one of the questions, like, as draw a line, a straight line, and see if the child can do it. And she is at that stage that she can draw lines. So what I'll do is, like, I draw a line and I said, oh, Maddox, can you do this? And then she'll do it as well. She can draw, like, I asked her to, like, make a circle. She still doesn't know how to, like, make just a circle, but she'll do the motion on how to do it. And also, as I mentioned before, in this picture, you can see that is not as bright. She was using crayon in here, but and those thick crayons too, but she wasn't really using as much like, you know, it's like her grip wasn't as strong. In here you can see that her grip is stronger. She's more curious in how to use the markers. She's exploring even more with the material that she's given. So she's done lines, circles, and so also a space, like I mentioned, like that's one of the questions, is very important in um, how we use that, because children need large spaces, if that's what the question means, because I was looking in the book and I wasn't sure what it was meant by that. And also I feel like, you know, in in the picture before, she doesn't really have control of line as she has control of line in this picture. In this picture, she, like, let's say, like, she makes some lines and stops, and then she goes to another ones, but it still is a disordered scribbling. It's not really the controlling scribbling. I feel like eventually she's gonna get, very soon I believe she's gonna get into that scribbling stage, because even like I have noticed with her, like I said, she has a very good vocabulary as well. She'll be like scribbling sometimes on the easel, and she'll be like, oh, I'm writing my name, like, and then she'll say like her first name and like last name, and like I said, she really impresses me in how she does things. I will say also that she is very bold in her motion. She likes to explore. She likes to to use different markers or different crayons and different materials. In here I have another of her art pieces that we just recently did, where I give them blue paint, you know, and this piece of paper is much larger, and they use a paintbrush, and she's good, you know, she painted with blue, and then she glued the fish we were doing after we read the story from Dr. Seuss, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. We proceeded to do this activity, so it was really good to see her also the motion with the brush. She used to hold the brush with the fist, and now she's using her two fingers, and she's exploring more with the paint. So I also wanted to show you another picture from a student of mine that he was like also doing disordered scribbling. He is not as verbal yet, but he was also exploring with scribbling. So he did some of this in one page, and then he turned the page, and he was more exploring a little more. I feel like he didn't have as more attention as my other student had. He wanted to do a little bit, and then he was done and he left. So I feel like with my little girl student, she was more involved, and she continued to do her activity. She had more boldness in doing her activity. Well, with my friend in here, I was very impressed in how, if you can see here, he like was scribbling, and he just made the letter A. I was really impressed by that. But when he was doing it, he had the paper like upside down, like, you know, like the paper was like that in front of him. So it was like unintentional, but I was mentioned like, oh my goodness, Silas, I said, you made a like the letter A, and I showed it to him, and I said, you know, so his motion, his hand motion was also, he was curious, but it was a more shorter period of time. So I hope that this video was good, a good explanation of the pieces of art that I did with my children, and I hope that you have a great day.